Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. There was this super cool chess match recently where former world chess champion Vishy Anand is playing head to head against the entire world. Over 60,000 people have participated or they jumped in to take part in this tournament, and you might be wondering what is this? 60,000 people playing against them at the same time? Well, I think you've already guessed it. It is of course an online match, and it is vote chess, which is actually this tournament is actually wild because it totally beats the number of people who played against Gary Kasparov in 1999 in a similar format or showdown before. This just goes to show that how fast that chess it insanely popular chess has gotten these days, right? More and more people are diving into it since it's basically it's just basically the number one mind sport out there. Anand's been crowned world champion for 5 times actually, even though he is right now a bit older than before. He is now older, but still he is participating, he is still rocking it. He going toe to toe with the new chess players, and even beating some of the strong players, which means that still, even though he might not be that active as before, participating in these tournaments, but still he has his skills well preserved and very strong still. Alright, in China, Anand is this legendary figure because everyone knows him and digs him for being super friendly and approachable, and it's not no surprise so many folks joined in this match against him. His star power is off the charts. People from all over the world just love him and wants to play love him as a world champion. Now in China, the go-to games are actually Go and Chinese chess, which means that at my chess school, it contains all types of mind sports, like international chess, Chinese chess, Go, and many more. And but for example, the students who play chess, international chess, are still they're just in containing just a small percentage. Because for example, 100 students, for example, only about 10 or maybe 20, I think it's just about 10 students are studying or playing international chess, and others are basically playing Go and Chinese chess. But there's still way more than before, because before probably 100 players, there are just 5 players who play international chess. And the recent Asian Games in Hangzhou even included chess as an event, which is awesome because this just shows that more people are able to know or are putting focusing more on this sport. It gives loads of people hear their first taste of chess to feel this game, and as its influence grows, more folks are gonna jump into it and study or jump into the chess scene and play. Alright, so let's dive into this match right here where Anand played against 60,000 players. Since there were so many people involved, as I've just said before, earlier, this is vote chess, so they used a polling system to decide to make what move. And actually, I think it just sounds pretty cool because 60,000 players voting, and actually that is just really insane. Alright, but anyways, let's check it out and see what interesting twists and turns happen in this game. Well, actually, before we take a look at this game, I want to show you guys this article. Chess.com community and Viswanathan Anand breaks record in the largest chess game ever played. You can just by taking a look at the this picture, you can see that first of all, plus 60,000 players, and you can see Vishy is smiling right here, and Vishy versus the world, history made. All right. Chess.com is so excited, it's excited to announce that over 60,000 people have participated in the historic Vishy versus the World Vote chess match. Historic. This surpasses the number of participants in the legendary 1999 Kasparov versus the World match. The new record highlights the growth of the global chess community and its passion for coming together for a run and collaborative challenge against one of the game's most iconic players. The Vishy versus the World match features five-time world chess champion Grandmaster Viswanathan Anand, one of the most iconic and beloved figures in chess, challenging the global community through a vote chess format. Chess.com members from around the world have been regularly voting on their preferred moves. It's fantastic to see the global chess community come together for this record-breaking match, said International Master Danny Wrench, Chess.com's chief chess officer. To have over 60,000 people playing in a single game speaks to the immense respect people have for Vishy Anand. This match is a celebration of all that makes chess special. So you can see that everyone is surprised by how this large amount of players, number of players, 60,000, that is a huge number. Alright, but they're voting for this, voting each move, which means that anything can happen. So some people, they're just trying to vote the best move, but some people, they're kind of voting for these worse moves. So anything can happen basically. Alright, now let's take a look at this game. In the game, Vishy is white, of course, and the world is 60,000 players. They are black. So actually, this is close, similar to daily chess as well. Both sides have 24 hours to make the move. And Vishy started with c4, the English opening, actually kind of solid. And black played e5. Actually here, for black, there are many options knight f6, for example, d6, e6, or c6, many options, but I guess that 60,000 players, most of people, they want to play e5, and they e5 got the most votes, and that's why they played e5, and knight c3 was played. Knight f6, well, actually, here you can also go for other moves like knight c6 or bishop b4. You can also just push your pawns, for example, g6, something like this, just to develop. Knight f6 was played in the game, and knight f3. Knight f3, knight c6. Basically, right now, Anand is playing all the best moves, and black, the world, is also playing the best moves. At least 60,000 players. Of course, there are some grandmasters or international masters contained in them, but of course, one person's strength is not enough. We need 60,000 people's strength together, to work together actually to vote for the best moves in order to win. And that's not something very easy to do. And let's see what happened. G3, bishop b4. Bishop b4 is actually, in the game, I think black is going pretty aggressive. The players or the people, probably they want to, go aggressive and trying to confuse Vishy. But also here, you can also just go d5 to, you can also just go d5 here to open up the center, and if white takes, you take with the knight, and after bishop g2, this somehow transfers. This is still in the English opening, but it's actually very similar to the dragon, but the sides are switched. All right, let's see. But of course this is another option, but instead in the game, bishop b4 was played instead. Bishop g2, short castle, knight d5. Knight d5 and e4. Already in this position, black is actually slightly better, or at least white is giving his advantage, opening advantages away. So where did white go wrong? Actually here, knight d5 is fine. Maybe not the best or the most accurate move. Here what white needs to do is actually just to go short castle, just quickly develop his pieces, and that's it. And probably in the future go e4 or e3, d4 ideas are all possible. But instead, knight e5 was played, and this shows that Vishy also wants to like play pretty aggressive. And knight d5 was played, e4. And actually, just like to tell you guys that actually this showdown, or like this, not like, let's just say this is like a tournament. This tournament has time limit. I think about like a few days only, and which means that this game has to end like in a few days. And of course, both sides, if they were playing really solid, then probably this game will end for even a few weeks. And of course, that is not allowed, which means that both sides willing to like play pretty aggressive and just win as fast as possible or create as many counterplay as possible. In the game, knight h4 was played, of course, very reasonable, just getting the knight away and also opening up this diagonal for the bishop to put some pressure on the e4 pawn. And here, black played d6, also the best move, and here Vishy castled. But actually, right now, castling is not the best option. Why? Because like, first of all, let's just like I'm gonna show you guys what is the best move. The best move here is actually just to take the bishop, and after knight takes, you go a3, kick this knight, knight goes back. Now you can actually there's another only move for white to stay slightly better. Other moves are all good for black, much better for black. Here, white goes d3 actually, and if black were to take, you take with the queen, of course. You don't want to take with the pawn, because if you take with the pawn, there's rook e8 check. Your king is still not castled yet, and you might be in some trouble. But let's say white takes with the queen here, but I think black will just develop with, for example, rook e8. And if you go short castle here, black goes bishop e6. This is a position where both sides have chances, and everything is just going really normal. Well, yeah. But instead, in the game, instead of taking on b4, Vishy decided to preserve or like keep the pieces, all the pieces on the board, and went short castle, which is also pretty reasonable. But now giving black some chances. Actually, here, black can already gain a huge advantage by playing this move g5. g5, and this might seem as if like the knight is trapped on h4, and actually it is. But here, if like you're white and you have this only move to like save the position, and it's to go d4. Now the main point is that black can actually only go h6. Other moves like g takes h4, like you might ask why I cannot take this free knight. It's free. But actually you can see that, okay, d4, what is this move, like what is the usage of this move? And you can see that it's actually opening up this diagonal for the bishop, and which means that this bishop can now go to g5 and attack the f6 knight, pin the f6 knight, and threaten to take it on the next move, which is unstoppable. So that's why actually g5, d4 can still save the position, and black goes h6 to protect the g5 pawn. But now this gives white at least some time to get away with the knight, and here white should play h3. And if you take now, there's bishop h6. But actually black can here take with knight d5, and after c takes d5, if you go rook e8, well, that is actually not good because you lose the knight. But let's say if you run away with the knight, you lose the actually take is not the best move, because if you take, there's queen takes f8. Black has two minor pieces for a rook, and it should be enough. Like the compensation should be enough. Black will be slightly better here. But let's say like the best move here is actually to go queen a4 to attack the bishop. And the bishop is actually a little bit misplaced on b4. It's kind of getting trapped. Black goes c5 here to defend, but after d takes c6, bishop a5, I think white will be able to like at least equalize the position. Even though here the eval bar says, or like the eval bar says that it is pretty much equalized, but I think in human eyes, white is much like comfortable to play with, and all the pressure is on black's side because black's king is nonetheless opened, and like black should be more careful. But anyways, in the game, g5 was not played instead. Instead, rook e8 was played, missing this opportunity. And here, white played b3. Well, actually, again, the best option is to take on b4. And after knight takes b4, go a3. Kind of like the variation that we've just saw. And I just don't know why like Vishy is not playing this like knight takes b4. Probably he thought that the bishop on b4 is not a good piece. It cannot go anywhere, and he thought that, okay, I'm just gonna leave it there, and probably in the future I will even have a3, b4 ideas to trap the bishop. But actually this bishop is kind of annoying on b4 because you'll see why. b3, g5. Okay, now g5, this move is finally played, and I think this is the move where Vishy kind of missed, but he still have this only move to save the position with bishop b2 attacking the f6 knight, but it's not as good as the bishop g5 move where we just saw here. After here g5, you have d4, and if black takes, you have bishop g5. This is kind of like more deadly. But anyways, bishop b2 also works. Wait, I'm gonna clear my throat a bit. It's kind of scratchy actually. All right, bishop b2. And now after knight takes d5, which was played in the game, if g takes h6, g takes h4 was played, there's actually bishop takes f6, and white will be again winning. Knight takes d5 and c takes d5. Now the main point is that if you take on h4 as black, you'll lose the d6 knight, c6 knight, and after takes, b takes, this position will be better for white. Even though black is up a pawn, but you can see that it's not a healthy pawn. His black's pawn structure are completely damaged. The king is open to all diagonals and files, and white should be winning. Here, instead, knight e5 was played, very logical, and after f4, this is actually a really good move played by Vishy. This is the only move to kind of bring the advantage back to white's side. Other moves like a3 to attack the b4 bishop doesn't really work because there's just bishop c5, and actually black is gonna win because this knight is trapped on h4. Here f4 was played, the best move, and after g takes h4, because if you run away with the knight, let's say if you go, well actually you cannot run away, because if you go something like knight g6, white will just happily take on g5, and white will be completely fine here, actually winning. And if you were to take en passant with e takes f3, then after knight takes f3, you can see that now white's knight is freed from that square on h4, and already black's pawns are pushed way too, this g5 pawn is pushed way too high up the board, and black's king is opened. But of course in the game, g takes h4 was played, the best move, and after f takes e5, d takes e5, already this position white is back on track again. A few moves earlier, white is still kind of worse because the pieces placements are all not that good. But now you can see that white at least has the h4 knight, that weakness. Because white has already got rid of that weakness, and now you can see that black's pawn structures are just completely damaged. First of all, a double pawn. Second of all, another pair of double pawns, as well as this rook is putting a lot of pressure on the f7 pawn. And black's king is also facing a lot of great danger. It's actually really easy for white to play. Here Vishy played e3, and after queen takes d5, actually this is a mistake, a losing move actually. What black should have done here is actually just to try to keep the king safe with queen g5, to blockade all of the queen h5 possibilities, or at least keep the files and diagonals closed. Sometimes a pawn is not that important, especially in this position, because you take the pawn but you'll waste your development time. And you can see that actually this is just a poisonous pawn, because if you take, you'll allow white to go queen h5 here, and actually this is already winning for white, because you can see that there's just way too much weaknesses. And for black here, black played bishop d2, another mistake. You can see that basically the world 60,000 players, they have they thought that they wanted to take these two pawns, but they're wasting two moves, and these two moves they should have used them instead to develop their pieces to get the king to a safer place, or to prevent white from going queen h5. But instead of doing all of these things, black decided to first of all take this useless d5 pawn, and after queen h5, taking this even more useless d2 pawn, still not realizing the danger. This king is like actually already like in full danger, and there's no way for black to really prevent it now, because after queen g5 check, first of all, you cannot go king h8. Well, I mean you can, but after king h8 there's queen f6, and if you go king g8, there's actually actually, instead of going queen f6 after king h8, you can just go like rook a d1 immediately to pin the bishop and the queen, and this should be winning. Oops, what am I doing? You just pin the bishop and the queen, and let's say like black can't really do anything. It's just unstoppable, all the threats and everything. Like rook d2 threats, rook f7 threats, following up, all are winning ideas for white. So that is why in the game king f8 was played instead, but this is also losing to rook a d1, and after queen a5, black, like 60,000 players, they are trying desperately to like defend this position. But after queen h6 checked, king g8, rook f7, well actually this move might look like pretty amazing, but probably Vishy wants to win this game like in a more beautiful way. But the best way is actually to win with queen g5, and after king f8, just to take this bishop, and it's a very clean win, because if black were to take on d2, there's now bishop a3, and it will be like mate in a few moves. Alright, king g8 was played in the game, and instead of going queen g5 though, Vishy played this rook f7 move, winning in a more beautiful way. And after king takes f7, rook f1 check, king e7, Vishy calculated all the moves, and after queen f6, king d7, it's actually already mate in 3 after bishop h3, rook e6, takes, and now rook f8 mate. And here, Vishy won this game against the world 60,000 players. This game was actually like the quality is of course not great, but still like Vishy has played good chess, and 60,000 players, like of course they played a few mistakes, especially queen d5 and bishop d2. Like taking on these two pawns, sometimes you just have to understand, like pawns, they're not always, or like material, they're not always that important, because if you take, like sometimes if you take a pawn, you use one move, and that move you should have done something else more important, like developing your pieces, or getting your king to a safer spot, or like prevent white from like doing something like, or like prevent your opponent from doing something deadly. But now like here in this position, you just saw that after queen d5, allowing white to go queen h5, and there's just nothing black can do. And even like even worse, black here took on d2, wasting another move, and now it just makes white winning very easily. I mean, still we can learn something from this game, but in all words, the game is like not the most important thing, but the most important thing is like about this whole event. Vishy playing against 60,000 players in both chess. 60,000 players, that is a lot. And compared to a similar like showdown in 1999, where like Kasparov was like playing against the world as well, like the players or the people who are participating in these chess events are growing rapidly, which means that there are more people like going or jumping into the chess scene, and that is actually a really good thing, because like chess is getting more audiences and more people involving in it, and that's just a good thing, a really good thing actually. Alright, so that is it for today's video. Hope you guys learned something from this game as well as this whole event, like find it interesting, and I'll see you in the next video. Please subscribe. Bye.